What comes to mind when you hear the word hypnotherapy? Moreover, what comes to mind when you hear the phrase past life regression hypnotherapy? That's a mouthful. Many of you may say, oh, no, Valerie, that's way too far out there. It's way too woo-woo. Well, just hold on a second. I want you to listen. Because hypnotherapy is not hypnosis. Past life regression is not something that's way out there. It's actually becoming one of the most frequently used holistic treatments. When you're working with Elizabeth Lockhart, who owns Mariposa hypnotherapy, you'll find out that she is very well experienced in this practice. She has an MS in mental health counseling. She's been studying with the Michael Newton Institute for eons. The reason I want people to explore past life regression hypnotherapy is because our world is in a lot of pain. Most of us either know someone who is going through something tragic, traumatic, an addiction. If we don't find a more elevated and holistic way to manage this aspect of our lives and to help others, we are simply going to have more and more of the same. Price Pritchett says, you are the solution to your future. In this practice that Elizabeth Lockhart provides for us, one of the aspects that I believe will help millions of people is the fact that you will experience more of an open mind. You will be more creative. You'll find your passion. Elizabeth will help you through this process right by your side. What I think is a plus, however, you can actually begin this process with the past life regression hypnotherapy. You can do it virtually. As I mentioned, Price Pritchett says, you are the solution to your future. I believe when we start to have an open mind, we explore other avenues to trauma, addiction, pain, whether it be mental or physical, you're going to open up absolutely new, powerful avenues for you to experience life in a much better and calmer way. We all know people. Don't we know someone who's come back from the military, unfortunately, has committed suicide? Or in the policing environment, we're seeing more suicides. And what about the children who are in school? And we've got gun terrorism. All of this impacts them, and it impacts us also because we feel helpless. That's why I think it's so important that we become more open-minded. We reach out to someone like Elizabeth Lockhart, have a discovery call with her. All of her information, her contact information is in my podcast details. The 3 takeaways I would love for you to understand in working with her is, number 1, she treats addiction, mental and physical. Number 2, this process creates an open mind to new possibilities. Combining that with number 3, which creates amazing paths to finding your purpose in life. I believe when people come back from the military or they're deep traumatic in policing, there are children who've gone through trauma with the shootings, this is a process that could open their minds and say, I have a new path. That's why I believe that these holistic treatments that Elizabeth provides are so necessary in today's painful experiences. To wrap up something that I would love for people to understand, because I had a lot of misinformation when I met her. Karma. We all misuse the word karma, and we also misunderstand the word karma. Many of us say, well, they're going to get karma for that when it's a misdeed or something cruel has happened. what she clarified was that karma is not punishable. It doesn't come back in a second life or a third life or whatever you believe in to punish us for our misdeeds towards someone else. Rather, karma is a tool that helps us improve our behavior. Karma is an act that helps us become better people. Elizabeth, I hope that's correct. It was a really fascinating conversation. If you do nothing else, have a discovery call with her, because really a fountain of information. But the fact that she has studied this for many, many years and really a compassionate, really caring person, one of the first things you'll notice about her. Tying into Kundalini Yoga, which many people know that I have studied for 30 years, every day. It's probably been more than 30 years now. I included a Kriya that also helps with addiction. One of the things that Guru Jagat says on this Kriya, this is only about 7 minutes. I do this during the week, Monday through Friday, because that's about all the time I have to do yoga. What she talks about is that, that this Kriya works on addictions also. She certainly talked about people who want to numb themselves with television, food, whatever. But she actually mentions complaining, that this Kriya will help people stop complaining, because we all know we got a lot of complaining in the world. Practice that Kriya. It's only about 7 minutes. It's also anti-aging and a vitality Kriya. Beneficial. I included in the wine section a cult wine, meaning it's not seen in every store. It's not seen in Florida at all, but it's called Forlorn Hope. I saw with one of my connections, he was talking about the history of Forlorn Hope. It was actually a band of people who went up to the Donner Pass to try to save these people. That's too tragic for me to talk about. However, the Forlorn Hope wine has a different history. The word actually is from the Dutch language, but the gentleman who creates these wines, which he named Forlorn Hope because he saw his winemaking and these vineyards that he bought from his grandfather were producing back in the 1800s. He saw the way that his family was cultivating the vineyards, producing the wines. They were outliers. They were people who were bucking the system. They were people who didn't pay any attention to what everyone else was doing. And he gave that name, Forlorn Hope, to his label because he saw that there was history behind his property. Evidently, there were marauding, I'm just going to call them pirates, coming to his area, and there was a band of vigilantes who would protect his grandfather's property. This was pre-prohibition. This wine I put where you can probably get them shipped if you're in anywhere outside of New York, but it's Suburban Wines who carries them. They will ship them. The wines are in the high teens, and once you get into the really stunning, stellar, unique, they start getting in the high 20s. So Forlorn Hope. Everything's on my podcast. To wrap this up, I know that when you hear the words past life regression hypnotherapy, it's way out there in outer space. However, you're going to see more of this because we are seeing a movement. If you haven't noticed, we are seeing a movement in the United States and some other countries also of holistic treatments. Go to Elizabeth Lockhart's website, Mariposa Hypnotherapy. All of her information is on there. Give her a discovery call. She's an amazing person and will do you wonders if you especially know someone who is having issues with their purpose in life, addiction. This is a good person to talk to. Practice this Kriya in 7 minutes. You will conquer the world. Lastly, Forlorn Hope is really a wine to learn about. Taste. Great food wine, by the way. For me, it's a winter wine. It is a little heavy. Down in Florida, we are having winter, believe it or not. It's worth searching. All of this is on my podcast details. You just have to click on them. link and it'll take you to the episode. For me, I'm Valerie Hale. I create this podcast once a week to help people improve their mindset. I also create mini courses to help people overcome their fear of public speaking. That is on my podcast details also. Merci, au revoir.